Audio check. Test 1, 2, 3. Barranca Tower, Barranca Tower. Hello, everybody. Orange Tabby. Glad to see you guys can hear me all right. I guess we can get rolling a couple of minutes early. Just get everybody to sign in. Just turn on the magic. There we are. And we'll just stick a picture up here to fill in the gap in the meantime. Let's go with that one. Hey, gang, everybody's checking in. We'll start talking about stuff in just a second. Guess we can wait a few minutes. So, what's up? What you guys working on? Hey, John, Michael, Stephen, Steven, TG, glad you guys could make it. Oh. Mm. Just notice that glares on that picture. Yeah. There's no way I can get rid of it. Let me try this. And it's a problem when you use something with glass on it. Okay, covers the picture. Tamiya P38. That's a pretty sought after kit. I did the monogram 148 scale P38, and not a bad kit, but the top and bottom of the fuselage has, because that one uses a top and bottom. Man, I literally had to use a pair of pliers to get the everything made up. It was not the usual monogram fit. Even filing down the cockpit and everything to make a little room, it just didn't quite line up. Oh, no worries, Jeff, man. You know, you go do the family thing. I got a family thing this afternoon, so this one probably won't be as long as some of them. M1A2 Tusk by Ming. Never built a Ming kit. They seem to be pretty popular. The I guess Ming, their reputation's good. I haven't built their kit, so I can't make a comment. But it seems like a lot of their stuff is armor. That seems to be their specialty. But I think they make everything else. I actually should probably look them up for a history. They haven't really been around that long, as far as I can tell, but they've established a pretty good reputation. In fact, it seems like most of the new companies that have popped up, I guess, with modern techniques for cutting molds and injection molding, and the quality of the plastics having gotten so advanced that's probably hard not to make a good mold, at least if you want to be competitive. A Japanese film called Isuruko. Yeah, I've seen clips of it. I think that's the one where at the end it ends with his being shot down. The one thing the movie did get right, which was misunderstood for a long time, is that Yamamoto was not killed in a plane crash. He was killed by gunfire. Although they now say it was officially Rex Barber's been credited with the kill, not Michael Lanphier. But I wasn't. I did meet Rex Barber one time, and he had 5 kills, and he was pretty adamant that he got Yamamoto's plane, but Lanphier was, I believe, the mission commander. So, oh, the Blues are in town. Andy at Andy's. I did. Jeff, was it you that sent me the link? I got a shout out on one of the channels recently, talking about the history videos. They were going over a bunch of cars. I think it was Andy that they got an enormous collection in, and they were talking about SMP and AMT, and he was with was that Doug of Doug's Models he was with. And he actually, while they were going over the models in SMP, he gave me a shout out for the AMT video because, hey, Alessandro, glad you can make it. And that was, well, that just made my day. You know, it's always nice to get a shout out on another channel. And, but he came into a massive collection of cars, some fairly rare stuff. I mean, SMP kits don't show up that often. For those who haven't seen the video or just, you know, I mean, I had to go watch my own video to get my notes straight on it. But originally, they, I believe it was AMT, had worked closely with Ford, and they wanted to do General Motors and the other people, but they couldn't really do that while maintaining their close relationship with Ford. So they invested in, I think SMP already existed, but or maybe they started it, but I think it already existed. But they invested in it so that AMT could make promo models for other companies without interfering with their relationship with Ford. And they actually wound up buying SMP out completely. But you don't see a lot of SMP kits around, and I've never built one. I've never heard anything good or bad about them. I'm assuming they were probably, you know, average quality for the day. But I did watch the video. It's a heck of a haul he took in. Of course, he's in the business, so I'm sure he'll sell a lot of those. One of the things I won't do with anything anybody sends me, I will not sell it because it was a gift. If I see somebody I think will give a better home, I'll gift it to them because you guys have been so generous to me, but I refuse to take any money for it. That's one reason I don't monetize the channel. This is a hobby, and I want to keep it that way. Maybe when I retire. Yeah, well, we're not technically started yet, Chris. You guys probably know that in the past, I've had some, let's call them technical issues, which as we used to say in the Army is operator headspace and timing, getting the live stream started. So I try to start a little bit early to give myself some time to get everything working. Now that I've been doing it a little more, I tend to get everything up and running. So I think, well, you know, we'll just hold on. Lance, glad you made it. Sledge Master, glad you're here. Winston-Salem, hello, Raymond. Herman, great. Gang's all checking in. Well, it's 2 o'clock, so I guess we can get going on the official. The live stream is now officially beginning, and well, I appreciate that, Robotube. I, as you guys are well aware, none of this was planned. This all kind of started off. You know, I'm recovering from my hip surgery, making videos on my cell phone. People just started watching. I could never have planned the kind of success the channel's had, and I like the size of this channel. Hey, Sungwar, you made it great. I like the size. I like what's happened with the channel because it's big enough to make it worth doing. Well, I say make it worth doing. Like I say, it's not a monetary thing. I'd probably be doing it if I had 2 viewers, but it's good enough to make me feel really good, like something worthwhile is being accomplished, but not so big that I lose track of, well, actually do lose track a little bit, but it's I recognize the names and stuff like that, and it still kind of has that homey feel. Let me turn this off real quick. We don't need that anymore. I'll make that bigger. So I'm really happy with where the channel's out. And hey, Trace, we are going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff today, plus whatever you guys want to talk about. And I got some questions on some things that I thought make good material to talk about. And a lot of it was on modern injection molding and what certain things are. And I'll start off with my little visit down to the red Caboose, which I made of course, those are all cell phone photos and video, but you guys know that Alan Spitz runs that red Caboose Hobbies. And that was a road video. I mean, I'm literally talking into my phone using telephone editing software, so I'm pretty limited in what I could do. But then again, you know, I probably have the lowest production values on the internet, so I'm not worried about making the show slick. I think the fact that it's not slick is half the fun of it. But anyway, back to red Caboose. It literally is a basement operation. And Alan has he's from New York. I mean, he's born and raised there. This is his place. He knows the neighborhood. And I'm sure you guys are well aware that in a lot of major cities, when you deal with locals, their neighborhood is their world. They know the history, they know who lived where and everything. And he gave me this, and I probably should have recorded it, but my battery was dying. He gave me this wonderful breakdown of the history of model shops in Midtown on that block, from going back to like 1928 when the first hobby that he's in now was founded. I think it was above ground at the time. But there were 4 hobby shops, and I think he said on that one block. And of course, that's big when 20s, 30s, 40s kids built everything. So of course, hobbies were a huge part of every young man's life. And the Red Caboose got started, I think, I don't know if it was called the Red Caboose back then. Anyway, mostly model trains, but he was very adamant that he'll sell what he'll deal in what sells. It's a business. Although he loves trains and has an encyclopedic knowledge of them. But the other 3 businesses lasted through the heyday of the models, but they all eventually went away. He's the last man standing. And his operation, of course, as no shock, is doing about a quarter of what it used to do, just because of changes in the hobby industry, not because of anything endemic to the shop. Everybody in the local area knows where he's at. He's the go-to place. I can't believe how many of you guys have sent me emails or messages. You've been there, or maybe you grew up near there. I didn't quite realize how well known Red Caboose was, but it's not the kind of place you're going to find unless you're looking for it. You either have to know where it is, or you have to, thanks to Google Maps and everything, I'm sure that he gets more walk-in business than he used to. But because it's downstairs and there's just a little sandwich sign in the door, I had to call him when I got there and ask him. I'm like, look, I'm here according to Google Maps. I can't see the place. And he had to give me okay, you look at this place, look to the left of this diner. That's the door. I was like, oh. And I thought I was expecting like a storefront. And so I was actually across the street looking for it. Couldn't see it. Now, if you're on the sidewalk, you'll see the sign hanging down from the roof, and it's reasonably discreet. You have to be looking for it. But once you get in there, as soon as you turn and go in the hallway with all the models under glass, you're like, yep, this is the place. And then you go downstairs, and it just has that dusty old styrene smell. You can smell 1954 down there. And I read some of the Yelp reviews, and Alan is a great guy, extremely knowledgeable, very much part of old school New York and all that implies. I had a great time talking to him. Some people were saying, well, he's a curmudgeon. Like, no, he's just if you guys have spent any time in New York, he's got a lot of energy, and he's very I actually read one comment on a Yelp review or something that was saying, he's a great guy, but he's very busy and very energetic, and I'll go back there the next chance I get. I had a great time. I think if you go down there, you will. Harold was down there working with him, and he is a super nice guy also. And what surprised me, was he had a couple of customers in there, or he had one customer in there while I was there, who had some some Walters rail cars he was looking at buying. They were haggling over the price. And what I thought was so great about it was that when was the last time you went to a hobby shop where you could actually make the guy an offer or haggle with him? He may not accept your offer, but at least you don't get the, I'm sorry, like Hobby Lobby or someplace where all the prices are set by, this mysterious management in some other part of the country. And the local employees don't have the authority to make a single decision. Where downstairs Alan's place, if you want to wheel and deal with him, you can certainly try. He calls the shots down there, and if he accepts your deal, it's just nice to go to. I mean, I'll be honest with you, if you're a modeler and you're going to New York, it is Red Caboose is a full one-day tourist destination for model builders. We should come up with a book of tourist destinations for model builders and put that in there. Hobby shops you must visit when you go on vacation, and that would definitely be at the top of the list. But it's one of those places that You never know when you're going to move something aside and find some, you find some gym, you move it aside, and you find some other gym behind it, because floor space is extremely critical there. So he's got to pack stuff in where he can. But this is what hobby shops are meant to look like, and when you go into a hobby shop and it's clean and antiseptic and everything, I mean that's nice, but I guess you would say it has a corporate feel to it. Whereas you go into this place, you can tell that he's doing this because this is what he wants to be doing, and that makes all the difference. And some people just don't understand the dynamic, the whole thing, and having the native New Yorker back there with that New York way about him just adds more. In my book, it adds more charm to it, and I read some of these reports, some of these comments about people griping, well, the guy was this, the guy wasn't. Oh man, lighten up. First off, he's a businessman who's trying to run a business, and second off, he knows what he's talking about. And if he doesn't, he asked me some questions about down there, and if he doesn't know, he'll tell you he doesn't know. But he's a great resource, but he's also a very busy guy. And some folks just, they don't have that. What am I looking for? It's all about them, and the minute it's not about them, there's a problem. And I'm like, no. That's. I read some of those comments people left, and I thought they were being not right. And if you've ever gone into an old gun shop or an old garage repair dealership with a guy that's been running a long time, it's the exact same thing. It's basically one guy running a shop that is his life's blood, and he's got just this. He has so much information about so many things. He borders on being a national treasure, or what they call that a national asset or something like that, or a cultural asset. And but I had a great time down there, and I definitely recommend it. I will go down there next time I'm there, and probably spend more money. Thanks to you guys, I haven't had to the model I bought there, the Glencoe repop of the Vanguards, the last model I've bought in a while. But he had one, which shocked me. I've never seen one in all the hobby shops I've been to. I've never seen he had a lot of stuff down there I've never seen on the shelves of other hobby shops. I can only imagine it's kind of like a Virgil would have been like to have gone to the fine scale modeler, the squadron shop warehouse, And another thing that I really liked is a lot of spray gun assets on site, a lot of airbrush components and everything. Not only new units, but he had all kinds of parts and everything. Had a really good part selection. But I think Kevin's right where he says that the internet killed the local hobby shop. That certainly has had a lot to do with it. But as Nick Argento at Glencoe pointed out, overall the thing that's really clobbered the industry was the loss of retail space. Because although hobby shops have been around a long time, most models were bought from Kmart's, when there were Kmart's, TG&Y's. It's where I bought mine as a kid. Kmart, Walmart, TG&Y, and we didn't actually have a Walmart. What did we have? We had a TG&Y, and of course the dime stores. But like I said, this is back in the day when you could buy models at grocery stores. I bought a lot of my models. I'll show you guys a picture in one of the earlier videos. I bought a lot of them at Rexall Drugs. They had as good a model selection. Eventually, they had a better model selection than the dime stores, and that's where I wound up buying them eventually. And that's the way it goes. I guess you can still find kit models. Actually, last time I was at Walmart. Yeah, they don't carry kit models there. The only place that I know that still carries kit models are the so-called hobby, craft stores. Michael's has an extremely small. I was there the other day. I almost took a picture. It was kind of sad to see how small the selection was, but they're going to sell what sells. Hobby Lobby definitely has a much better selection than Michael's does. But outside of that, it's the internet or a hobby shop. Although Hurricane Hobbies right down the road here seems to be doing pretty well. And the owner was telling me that he actually makes probably a quarter of his income off of kit models, about a quarter off of RCs, the four big things that he does seem to be kind of evenly dispersed: RC cars, RC planes, other stuff, and kit models. also, you know, make about 25% of the business. And he also has a lot of floor space. A good quarter of the store is dedicated to kit models. So Walmart carries them on the website, and the selection's getting better. Well, that's good. We've had hit and miss luck with Walmart. But anyway, so I definitely recommend that if you guys find yourself anywhere near Midtown, and he's not far from Times Square at all. I'm shocked that he's actually been able to maintain the business in such a piece of prime real estate. But I imagine going down to the basement is probably one of the reasons he's able to afford it. Plus, there are two other hobby shops in New York that are fairly well known, but I don't think either one of them's a well stocked. One of them seems to be more oriented towards gaming, and they're miles away from where he's at. And where he's at, I'm sure they're still walking. I imagine most people go in there, walk there. As you guys know, people who live, as they say in New York, in the city, which means Manhattan, most of them walk a lot. Because a car is such a white elephant in Manhattan. There's virtually no parking. Traffic is, good God. Well, it's everything. It took us an hour in the rented car to get from LaGuardia to Midtown, which is 12 miles, something like that, 14 miles. And it took us an hour, and we spent half the time just sitting in New York City traffic. And my gosh, the skill level that driver had to have, as close as these cars are getting to each other and pedestrians and everything else, can't believe they're not flattening somebody every hour. And so the reason I had this picture of the moon ship was just before I started the live stream. I got my email on the mailing list with Atlantis, and this is one of many kits that they're getting ready to reintroduce. They're taking pre-orders on it now, and it popped a thought into mind. When I was a kid, I had very little interest in these fictitious space vehicles like this moon ship or the Convair shuttle or the space station, the von Braun's wheel. But now, for some reason, I don't know why, as I get older and I start looking back on the cheesy science fiction of the 50s and the 60s and